It's live. Boom, it's live, it's live. It's live. How's it going, guys?
Hey, no build up.
Yeah. Fusebox and T-Bunny are here. The comics are Outlaw Nights and then Community Service, Escape from Little Bighorn Preambles.
Yeah.
So we're going to go over both these. I'm going to introduce these guys to the chat, to my channel, and we're going to just kind of hang out for about an hour. We're going to talk whatever we feel like talking about. But yeah, one thing we were just talking a little bit before we went live, like there's like Venn diagrams in Comicsgate, and I'm always interested in how they overlap. Like if you guys come on my channel, you might get, a bunch of new eyes on it, but there could be some times where everyone's already seen it. And so I'm curious too, in the chat, let us know, like if this is your first time seeing these campaigns, let us know too. That's always kind of an interesting data point, because you guys have been out there promoting them and everything on Twitter and YouTube, and these are both on Fund My Comic right now. Was it for Outlaw Nights? I searched it on Indiegogo first, and it said like this campaign is under review, blah blah blah. Did you have some drama with that or something, or?
Well, I did launch issue 2 about, I want to say, like it's been a little over a year now. And basically, I got shadow banned, and so I went. I completed the campaign. It didn't go well, and so I decided for a while I was going to get off of it. But I've been struggling to get eyes on this campaign, and so I'm thinking that if this campaign falls short, I'm gonna launch a second chance for issue 1 on Indiegogo and Kickstarter, and then that way, like, I won't really have to raise money to get it out there, but in this way I might be able to raise some of the funds to complete issue 2.
Okay, yeah, good idea. Yeah, it's like being an entrepreneur in indie comics. It's like you're figuring it out as you go, building the train tracks while you're on the train, that kind of thing.
Slapping it down while you're going over them.
Yeah. So is Sim the artist? That looks like that
Sim,
is, maybe.
So like it's a weird story, but it's fun. Basically, I had an artist named Render Contender for the first half of issue 1, and then he mysteriously vanished off the face of the earth.
Yeah, I remember him from early Comicsgate, and he was a good artist. But I hope he's okay. Sometimes when that happens, it means they died.
That's what I'm thinking, because like people were asking me, like, hey, have you heard from Render? Nobody's heard from him, and I'm like, I've tried to contact him. I don't know what happened, but he just poof, he was gone.
Yeah.
So I had to scramble, and Simon Potier generously stepped up to the plate to finish the book for me, and he gave me a discount. So
cool.
It was freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so he came in the clutch. Yeah, there's been a few examples of that, of like in crowdfunding, that could be one of the worst case scenarios, is a member of the team dies in the middle of the campaign, and it's happened a few times. So it's like,
I had a artist go completely defunct in the middle of my Ghost Rider for my Out of Obscurity compendium. Just disappeared. I abandoned his account, I guess, because last time I checked, he hadn't posted anything since the last I heard from him. So.
Oh yeah, I hope it wasn't like vaccine bullshit or whatever.
Well, he's a young guy, so last I heard he was going to go on a school trip, so they might have made him do a vaccine and something happened. I don't know.
Yeah. So this art is pretty badass. Fusebox. So this is Dave Sim art, or sorry, not Dave Sim. Sim Potier.
Yep.
Nice.
And this also, that page though was done by Render.
Okay, so this is Render. Oh yeah, and this is Sim Potier. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're having trouble telling the difference, because that means it blends well.
Yeah. No, and it's cool. Like that's a long tradition in comics to have artists switching off here and there.
Mm.
And when that's kind of a publishing thing too. When you got to do it, you do it. And but yeah, so want to give us like the pitch for the comic a little bit, or?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Outlaw Nights takes place in the 31st century. Humanity has begun colonizing into outer space, and history is very much repeating itself as it's pretty much the discovery of the New World 2.0, as the nations of Earth are all competing with each other over territory and resources. It's chaotic, it's hectic, and Big Brother's having trouble reigning in the colonies because the universe is a vast expanse. And so as a result of that, there has been a boom in crime and piracy. And so in the midst of all this, we've got a lot going on with the international works. We've got our main character, Cyrus Lawson, who is that guy in the center there, wearing the security outfit. And he's been bouncing around from colony to colony, and he's had a pretty rough go of it in life. And he's settled on a small, out-of-the-way, insignificant colony called Therese. And he's gone there to be sort of like a small-town sheriff type of guy, because he's joined the colony guard. And he's not expecting a lot of trouble. But right from the get-go in issue 1, that dream is ripped right from under him, as the pirates of the ship known as Hazard have invaded his settlement looking for a special piece of data. And this data is leading to a treasure that everybody and their mother has their eyes on. And it's a rat race in the making. So without giving too much issue 1 away, push comes to shove, our boy is kidnapped by this group of pirates. So now he's got to learn how to survive in the underworld of the 31st century and overcome his very black and white sense of morality, because not everything's as simple as he thinks it is.
Yeah, that sounds great. That's a good pitch. That's like a cool, awesome original story, cool world building, simple plot. It's almost like a Western plot, kind of.
Oh yeah,
Like you're saying.
I'm blending the genres like crazy. I basically just picked and chose elements I liked of like a bunch of action type genres, and like sci-fi, space opera, western, cyberpunk, mishmashing them all together.
Yeah. Cool. What's your history with like Comicsgate? I'll give you a big question. Comicsgate, comics in general, and like writing in general. Like you can do like a little history kind of thing.
Sure. I mean, I've been involved in screenwriting and such for, I want to say it's been at least, God, it's almost been 20 years. Maybe like it's like 18.
Cool.
But
yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like a good screenplay. The pitch, I was like, good.
That's the thing. I was initially in the film industry stuff, and basically some events have come up in my life that have kind of stopped me from really pursuing film. And I was into comics as a kid. I was very casual a comic reader. I didn't follow like long series. But basically, I got into superhero comics when I was in my early 20s. Because a friend of mine at work would bring them, and a lot of times we would get bored while we were at work. So he would just give them to me, and I would read them. And I started noticing CG about, God, it's almost been 4 years, I would say. I first started noticing EVS's streams on YouTube, mostly because he was talking about The Last Jedi, and I was so dumbfounded by the existence of that movie and why people liked it. And so, as I was watching him, he was promoting CG, and I loved the idea of CG. Like, I liked the idea of a grassroots movement that doesn't just sit around and complain about what sucks about the mainstream. They're doing something about it. And so I wanted to be a part of that, and I figured it was a great outlet for my writing, and everything just kind of came together in the best way possible.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. It's very intriguing to me. I think I will definitely be backing this actually. And yeah, the movie background, screenplay background, that's kind of me too. And I like am not ashamed of it at all. I think it's like cool when comics like kind of
Oh
start
yeah,
in screenplay form.
screenplays and comic book writing are way closer than prose writing and comic book writing. I
Yeah,
discovered that myself. You know,
yeah.
right, going from prose to comic book is like putting kerosene in a gasoline engine. But you know,
Yeah. Someone commissioned me, or like we're talking about me doing a little prose short story for him, and I
mhm.
was thinking, I don't know if I can do it, but I'm kind of trying it out, and it's like that's like a whole new world of challenge and stuff.
Oh,
So
yeah, definitely, definitely.
we'll go over the tiers in a second. I want to hop on and check out community service here too. We'll kind of flip back and forth.
Sure.
Um, so T Bunny, what's
Hmm.
want to let us know about this project?
Okay, in a world adjacent to our own, in the multiverse, um, there was a paraforming event way before time began that created powered people in this world, and so because it's so parallel to our own, a lot of the same events happened, but they happened with powered people being like the beings of myth and legend were actually powered people in this world.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
and so, into that, a burgeoning young country called, that was a colony of England, started out, and they were at a disadvantage before this young man appeared who had powers, significant enough powers that it allowed them to break away from England. And they the kind because he showed signs of immortality, they gave him the uh, mandate to be overpowered people from in uh, the part of the Bill of Rights, and
Mhm.
so because he had that mandate and he was para government, he didn't have to follow their rules, and so he would involve himself whenever he felt like it, basically when he determined, and they didn't like that, and so about 50 years before the story, he was ambushed, seeing right there. And they used a alien crystallizing ray to try to turn him into crystal, but the person that they had taken mental control of broke the mental control long enough to break the machine. But what left him with was a one armed and one eye, and so they retired him, put him in the chain of command, and the 28th Amendment took away his mandate, and they set up a federal organization to be overpowered people. And so for 50 years, he was sidelined and put in the intelligence apparatus um, while forced not to be a hero. You see right there.
Mhm.
And meanwhile, the FERA, the Federal Expressive Regulatory Agency, took over powered people, the overseeing empowered people, essentially took away their rights as citizens, and so they could either work for the government, they could live unpowered, or they could be war or prisoners, and there's was no fourth option. But 29th Amendment gets proposed, and a fourth option makes it through Congress, called community service. But the people who were um, behind the government gaining control in the first place wants to keep that control, and so they've set up a massacre to take place that will take out both the community service program and make people scared enough that they won't vote for the 29th Amendment. And meanwhile, the Colonel Ironsides, which is his name, he comes out of retirement, finds out, gets wind of it, comes out of retirement to try to intervene, and that's the beginning of our story.
Cool. Sounds good. That's like some pretty sweet world building, and this
Mm.
this guy's that's cool. The coming out of retirement story.
Yep.
Um,
Well, it's interesting because the day he quit, the day he figured out that they were just handling him and writing him out of history, he actually intervened for the first time in 50 years and discovered that his hand moved. And so, and he could actually see out of his eye all of a sudden. And so the whole entire time, him not powering up, he could have had that power all along. But he didn't choose to power up, and so discovering that, and it's like they lied about that too. So it's somebody that has a lot of anger to work through after 50 years, right?
Yeah, that's like kind of tragic or whatever. That's cool.
Yeah.
Real quick, people in the chat are saying hi. We got people watching.
Hey.
18
What's
people
up?
watching. Everyone, we're pitching community service. This is from T Bunny, and this is like kind of a political alternate history with superpowers. Kind of like that. There's the long tradition of those kind of stories, and a lot of them are pretty cool. But when like Mark Millar has some versions like that, and there was some that they were telling me about at Tampa. I haven't read. There's one called Powers. Have you guys heard about that?
Yeah, it actually was made into a television show that was showed on the PlayStation's channel. For a minute.
Oh god,
yeah.
I forgot that existed.
That's funny. So many weird.
The first season was pretty good, but it went out. It fell off a cliff after that.
Oh, that might have been right around the time shit was getting woke. I don't know the timeline. But...
Yeah. Well, I had Sharlto Copley as playing Diamond, the depowered Diamond guy. It was a pretty good story. I enjoyed it.
Nice. That was something that at Tampa, Biggins was there, and he was telling people, he's like, CG needs more like superhero books and like team superhero books. I was like, that's kind of true, because I don't know, like you could name some if you think of like, here's one which is nice, and because people love that, it's like the tried and true kind of, and that's sort of the main thing that was corrupted by the SJWs. So it's like that's what we want to bring back.
Well, you've got Company Men, which is a great superhero team up book. Hybrids is an awesome superhero, and Shadow Sentry. Those are three other ones off the top of my head right there.
Cool.
But, all of them are awesome.
Yeah. So they exist.
Perfect 10, I think.
Perfect 10 is
Yep. That's a good. That one I thought of too.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah. It's echoing in the night. Voice. I'm like, no, I hate my voice. Almost not.
He's got to put his. There you go.
Did it like it pulled out your cord or something?
Yeah.
Your cat ripped it out.
That's why I'm single right now.
So it's Outlaw Nights from Fusebox, and then community service.
Well, there's one difference between ours. He was talking about that his main character had to learn to leave his black and white behind, and my character basically has to rediscover his black and white. So because he's compromised.
Interesting.
For 50 years, and he has to rediscover how to be a hero. So.
He's been cucked for 50 years.
Because my story is definitely not a hero story. It's more of a self-righteous person kind of coming to grips with the dark aspects of reality.
Yeah, cool.
Well, mine's kind of like the opposite of that, definitely.
It's the yin and yang. They're complementary. So back them both and treat them as a companion piece. You know what's a modern companion piece is Joker and Barbie. They're both billion-dollar movies. One's like incel movie. The other one's feminist / a little bit of incel in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, those movies, people need to watch those in the same night and see how it makes them feel.
Right. Well, I think it's hilarious that Barbie, they basically wanted to make the Kens like an object of derision, and they've become the best part of the movie.
Yeah, I saw one headline. It says like conservatives are watching Barbie wrong.
Well, it's springtime for Hitler. It's basically springtime for Hitler.
That's the first time I've heard that. That's perfect. That's exactly.
They pushed the envelope so far into parody that it flipped around. It became something brilliant. So
that's funny. That's exactly what happened. Because people were saying, like, is it like RoboCop? Is it like Starship Troopers? Which is, kind of like that, but not quite. And then I was like, is it like Joker? Like, what is it? But it's springtime for Hitler. That's like the most.
That's what it is.
That's so funny.
Every time, like, I look at like people reviewing Barbie, it's like I get a different opinion, which, in a weird way, I guess that makes it kind of a brilliant movie.
I think so.
You got like all these people taking something completely different from it.
Yeah. Either that, or it's so incompetent that it's so incompetently written that they foobarred their own point of view, and so people seeing the what's behind it will say, okay, this is a woke movie, but people saying the end product and how, because it's so incompetent, it had a different end product from what it was meant to be, and so that people actually like the end product of their incompetence. And so
because that is a little bit of they like tried to make it real feminist, but they ended up parodying feminism kind of. And then,
that's exactly what happened, because the Kens actually came off looking good, actually looking like the heroes, and it's like, that's not what we meant, And it's like the third weight intersectional feminists are the ones that look like the killjoys and the brainwashers, I just find that entirely hilarious, to be honest.
That's one. It's more, I don't think I ever am going to watch Barbie, but I watch every review on YouTube because I just think the discourse around it's hilarious. It's like better than the movie itself.
Right.
But T-Bunny, why don't you give us like the history of comics and interest in comics writing and comics? Okay. Let us know your whole.
Well, I go all the way back to my childhood. When my father started reading me the children's Bible, and a lot of the heroic concepts that I later appealed to me in hero comics came from there, like Samson, the Incredible Hulk, basically, of the Bible, David, and Goliath, and the Mighty Men and things like that. And so I was already set up to like hero fiction because of that. And I got into mythology and also fairy tales and things like that. And so when I discovered comic books, I basically my entry into the comic world was Incredible Hulk television show and Wonder Woman. So that's my first first time I saw that portrayed. And then it was years later I discovered, these are comics, okay. And I lived a very sheltered childhood because of we were hyper conservative Baptist, so I didn't get exposed to a lot of it. But once I started getting exposed to it, I went hog wild and kind of dove in head first. I hit comics around about the Claremont era, when the X-Men were at their pinnacle, I believe. When you had Wheezy Samuelson and Ann Nocenti riding shotgun with Chris Claremont, the Mutant Massacre, I think, is the most brilliant comic book, arc that's ever been created to me.
What's that one you just said?
The Mutant Massacre.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah.
Is that like from X-Men? Are they battling like Apocalypse or Sinister?
Well, actually, the big bad is Mr. Sinister, and he sent a bunch of murderers into the Morlock tunnels under New York and it's like a whole community down there, and they sent them down there to wipe them out because they were an inferior strain of mutant, and so it was a crossover book. There's multiple crossovers, and one of the oddest ones, my favorite one, was actually Power Pack went down in there. And so I'm like, how in the world is this going to work? And it was written by Wheezy Samuelson. It was just brilliantly done. But so you had these innocent people being massacred on the backdrop of these god-awful villains, some of them getting their comeuppance. But the X-Men were involved. There was a lot of them got damaged. Shadow Cat who was Kitty Pryde. The reason why she couldn't phase back into human solidity was because of this being down there. But there's a lot of damage done. A lot of characters are moved forward. Like Angel lost his wings in the Mutant Massacre tunnels, and they thought he committed suicide, and Apocalypse got a hold of him. That's how he became Archangel. And all of that was architected by Wheezy Samuelson. Okay, she actually created Apocalypse to create Archangel. So that's how brilliant she was. Anyway,
Cool.
So I got into that. I got out for a little while, but then I got back in when I had a local comic book shop pop up, and I was there for the Image revolution, and I was there for a lot of that, early '90s there, and then I kind of never really got out of it after that until Captain America said Hail Hydra, and that pretty much the Hail Hydra birthed this book, because I realized that they just ripped something out of the culture that needed to be there. They destroyed something deeply American that was ripped out of the fabric of America, and so there was a part of me that wanted to put that back. And so when I finally had time to create my universe, I made the centerpiece a battered old man kind of Captain America kind of guy, made him look in his 60s, but still capable. And I brushed off a character that I created early on, and there's a lot of political allegory and a lot of other things that a lot of these characters are like segments I see in society, and so they're kind of like people that should never be in a room together, and I'm putting them in the same super team, just for the hell of it. Like the young lady down there with purple hair is an SJW senator's daughter, named her nickname the government gave her was Switch, because she can either kill your powers or boost them, but she can't control which. And she is completely, totally self-centered and vapid, but every once in a while, when she's not paying attention, she does something heroic. So she's a very complicated character, but
I like that.
So I started at the character and worked outward. That was my approach, basically.
For all the story, like character first kind of thing, or?
Oh yeah, everything's about the characters to me. Everything.
Nice. What how long will the full story be, and how long is this issue?
Okay, this issue is about 32 pages. It's part one of the 3-issue arc of Little Escape from Little Bighorn. Basically, all 3 issues are getting them out of this situation, and it's I put them way deep in the doo-doo. Okay, they are in a kill box essentially, and this gentleman's going in at 50 years, rusty. Doesn't quite understand his own powers, and he's still trying to discover them. And but once the call comes in, he has to intervene. They can't not intervene. There's the part of the there's 3 pages I put sampled down at the bottom, but one of the pages his friend is trying to talk him out of it, and he says, if I don't intervene, if I let them get away with this, then I'm dead already. I might as well be dead.
Cool. That's kind of like some heroism type stuff.
Yeah.
Like
so it's like it's basically how Captain America got his groove back, essentially.
Oh yeah, that's a good pitch. That's funny.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. So we'll come back and we'll check out the tiers. Let's switch over to Outlaw Nights. But 26 people watching, everyone. We got 2 good books. I think both these guys are kind of writer specialists and very talented, and sounds great. Lots of experience, and the pitches for both sound really good. I'm definitely going to be backing them both. So yeah, I recommend it. Chat it. See if you want to jump on. They really do sound good. So we got $10 digital, issue 2 digital, issue 1 physical.
Very straightforward.
Yeah, issue 2, and you can just get both. You can just like click on both, I guess, right? Or there's the 2-for-1 special.
Oh yeah, that's my pride and joy because I have 30 extra issues of issue 1 already completed.
Oh, so there's 9 left. Yeah, so those should like sell out if people knew what's good for them. Those would sell out immediately. Chat, wink, wink. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm going to get when the stream ends. Okay, so 30. Yeah, so save one for me, chat, if you guys are back in it. 30 plus shipping is issue 1 poster, cover 2 poster, pirate hero shot. What is that? Is that this?
Oh yeah, I have them stacked up near the bottom of the campaign. Let's see. That's issue 2. These are the posters.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I pretty much put them in the same order, I think.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, you get the cool posters. Nice. Where's the? I can't see the. Oh, there we go. I think I got it. I can scroll now faster. Okay. So that was 50. That's the poster tier basically, and then 140 is the overseas special for overseas.
Yeah, I wanted to basically give overseas backers a chance to kind of bundle together because I know like shipping is what really kills it with the overseas market, and a lot of the folks who backed issue 1 were overseas customers, so I wanted to throw in a little something special for them.
Yeah, cool. That's a good idea. And the retail bundle, so domestic, is it? Yeah, triple it. Cool. What about with this one? I asked Telepathic Bunny about his, but how many pages are issue 1 and 2, and how many issues will the full story arc be?
So each issue is 25 pages. When I first wrote it, it was actually 50 pages, and I ended up having to split it in half in order to make it cost effective. So technically issues 1 and 2, the reason they're both called Genesis of a Renegade is because they're technically the same book, just they've been split in 2, and mainly because there was a point in the middle there where I had kind of a nice break that I thought was like, it worked out well. And the overall series is going to be 8 to 10 issues, depending.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that sounds great. All these are sounding good. Yeah, I've noticed that I've done that on my comics too, where I'll split it down the middle sometimes, and even for longer, it can work for shorter or longer. But that's like a structured thing, I guess. There always is a lot of times you have the 3-act structure or whatever, but right in the middle is always like some kind of thing that is like a table turning kind of thing or whatever, and that's always a good. That's like how Tarantino split Kill Bill. It's like the same thing. Like just in the middle, it happens to be a thing. And there was a guy, his name escapes me right now. He was like DC Marvel guy, and he was actually kind of cool on Twitter, but he wasn't CG, but he maybe a fence hitter, but he's okay. But he tried to start a YouTube channel when all this was starting, and he made like 2 videos and it didn't go well, so he quit. And I was like, classic. But his first video was like structure or whatever, and I'm like, okay, so he's gonna make writing videos. He made one and it was just about structure, and then that's it. I'm like, you could make like hundreds of videos on writing if you really want to get to the nitty gritty. It's all
that's what my whole channel is based on.
Yeah, cool. Oh, that I want to check out. Yeah, your channel, to me, your writing stuff. But yeah, so this guy, I wish I could remember what his actual name is, but he was saying, yeah, like that. I remember him mentioning that middle point, and I was like, oh yeah, like I started noticing it. Like if I'm watching movies, you can sometimes be like, this feels like that turning point in the middle, and you pause it and you see where it's at in the bar on the DVD or whatever, and it'll be in the middle. Yep. There's one like the Michael Mann one where Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise he gets drived around. He has to kill some people or whatever. You guys know that movie?
Collateral.
Yeah, Collateral.
Yeah.
That one had that exactly too. I paused it, like this feels like the middle. Boom, and it's like right in the middle. I think it's when Jamie Foxx throws his like assassin's briefcase over the bridge or whatever to kind of stop him, and that like kind of stops him in his tracks. But then he has to kind of figure out what to do, and then they go from there.
Right.
But that's cool though.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Baz says I always end up rewatching Kill Bill 1 over 2. That's interesting. Kill Bill 1, I remember. So there's a quote from Napoleon, and he says you have to change up your tactics every 10 years, or else you're going to get beat by your enemies. And I'm like, that kind of applies to artists. And like Frank Miller did that. And some of the best people, they'll like conquer and then rebrand and then conquer again. And I'm like, that's like super hard to do. And that's really impressive. Frank Miller did that. But Tarantino kind of did that, obviously. Like, he did the Pulp Fiction thing, and then a few movies later, he does Kill Bill, and at the time, that like blew my mind. And then I think it birthed so many, like it basically brought that genre back, and there's a ton of movies kind of like that. So
Jim Carrey was a stand-up, and most people don't understand or remember this, but he was one of the best mimics that anybody had ever seen. I mean, he was the next Rich Little.
Yeah.
And he decided, he's like, no, I don't. He's like, I can't rely on this. This won't get me anywhere. He'll wound up like Dana Carvey, basically what happened with Dana Carvey.
Oh, yeah. That's fascinating.
So he made a decision that he was not going to do any impressions, but that was his entire act. So he went out and he ate dirt sandwiches for years. And people got a reputation for being a horrible comedian. But then he started turning the corner. He started figuring out his act, and then he got Living Color after that. And so that's why we even know who he is because he chose early on that this was a dead end, And even if I lose everything short term, I'm going to gain something on the back end if I rebrand now.
Yeah. He's got an interesting like kind of origin timeline. I don't even follow it too closely, but I know. Stuff I like didn't realize, like he
wrote himself $1 million check,
but he was in a big movie, like he had his big break in like 1984. There was like Once Bitten. And like that movie's cool, but like whatever. So then nothing happened, I guess. So then 1994, 10 years later, then he had like 3 movies come out in 1 year. It was The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, and Ace Ventura all came out in 1994. However that happened, I have no idea.
Right.
And they're all legendary. And then he was kind of like the most famous guy for like.
And so what did he do? He took a left turn and did Cable Guy.
Yeah.
And then went into some dramatic roles. Which is why he's as big as he is. It's because
I did a YouTube video on him on my channel way early, and randomly it was called like Jim Carrey explains why he's not funny anymore. It was just a clip of him like being mad about Trump or whatever. But it was, I didn't realize, but it got like 500,000 views, and it got like 500 comments of people being like hating on. They're like, "Fuck you, dude. Jim Carrey's great. What the hell is your problem?" I eventually deleted it. I was like, because for a while I was like, nice, I'm getting views. Oh my god, they hate it. I'm getting so much like comments of people hating it, and I'm like, this is not the target audience. Like, I just want like comic skaters to laugh with me about Jim Carrey hating Trump or whatever. But no, so I deleted it. I was like, shit, people love Jim Carrey.
You got the TDS brigade, didn't you?
Yeah. If you I'm pretty sure that's still a thing. Like somehow the algorithm, like you can make something about Jim Carrey, it's going to get a lot of views. I want to try it again, but I don't know what. I was thinking I could try and do a little mini documentary on 1994, but it takes like some research, too. But
Right.
I did Google some of his stand-up like back in the day, and it's on YouTube. And I don't know if this is before. I assume this is after the rebrand because it was pretty hilarious though. It was making me
he was way funnier after the rebrand. He was a great mimic, but you can only be as funny as the person you're mimicking, which is what curtailed Dana Carvey's career, because when Dana Carvey had to play like somebody that nobody knew, when he had to play a new character, like in Master of Disguises, god awful movie, and he was trying to play like people that nobody knew, and he just wasn't funny, But he's a hilarious guy and a sweetheart, but he can only like mimic he can only be as funny as the people he mimics, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's what Jim Carrey understood early on.
That's something kind of like that is happening with uh, a little bit of like Trump and SJWs in general. Is like if you're trying to make fun of them, you kind of can't because they're so stupid that you can't
Right.
even like sink to their level, or like they already are like parodies of themselves. So then what do you even do? Like all we do is just kind of watch.
It's like after a while, it's like helping a retard hit himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like where's the challenge here? You know, it's like one time I went after I just for the hell of it I just decided to bat Heather Ontos around a little bit, and it was just sad. You know, it's just sad.
Yeah.
You know, it was so easy to debate, and I knew exactly what she's going to say next, and she's just like,
Yeah. She's definitely
Oh,
on board.
God.
She loves to be the victim, and she's
Well-
figured out how to monetize it. She's like also the definition of failing upwards. And
oh yeah. But it's
You know-
funny because all I had to do was like show the Arpel O'Neill cover, and I was like, "This was you, right? This was you, right? You know, you're the editor when this happened, right?"
yeah, that's funny. Caleb Reynolds for $2. $2. That's how Jake would say. Thanks,
Yeah.
Caleb.
Right.
Yeah, some lore with Heather Antos, you know, that's kind of funny is like way back in the day, your boy Zach, he was kind of talking about some stuff, and he's like Heather Antos, she's not an SJW, she's fine, she's actually kind of
fake
cool.
geek girl,
Yeah, she's kind of chill, like she's not perfect, but she's kind of cool. Don't worry about her. Don't attack her. She's kind of nice. The next day, I'm pretty sure the milkshake shit happened, and she was going super hard in the paint. And then somehow I think he did a video the day after that, and he's like, I take back what I said. She kind of sucks. Then she tried to get his Patreon taken down because back then he had a Patreon, and then that was when he was having the awakening. He's like, they're trying to get me to kill myself. They're worse than terrorists. And he was getting like kind of radicalized.
That's when he called her a fake geek girl and a cum dumpster. So
yeah. Then he did that stuff and whatever.
Well, it's hard to argue when somebody can't figure out that the tattoo that they put on their body is not the Flash. It's Shazam. You know.
Look at this. I say $2 and then Hype Wizard shows up. That's like
$2.
It's like the ghost of Hype Wizard.
$2.
You can summon him by looking in the mirror and going $2.
Does he owe you? Do you owe him for a newspaper route or something?
You know? Yeah. That's like
better
that's
off
the
dead.
demon,
Better
the
off
demon
dead. You know,
collecting
$2.
the newspaper.
$2.
Yeah.
That kid was obsessed. My God.
That's funny. Cool. So we'll look at these. So we got 22 people watching.
Okay.
We got community service, escape from Little Bighorn, preambles.
Yeah.
And this is Captain America getting his groove back, which is kind of sweet.
Yep.
Coming back after that Hail Hydra incident.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Which they're gonna recreate in movie form, by the way.
Oh,
That is-
God,
Oh,
really?
I can't wait. That's
That is
gonna
the
suck.
rumor.
Yeah. Man, they are digging.
They're gonna bring
themselves
Chris
so many
Evans
holes.
back so he can do that. So they can boost Sam as Captain America. So
Yeah.
I honestly
God.
can't tell if you're joking or not. That's the
I'm not.
sad part.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
Oh my God.
And Chris
it's
Evans
gonna happen.
would.
It's
He
gonna
would
happen.
agree with that. He would do that in a second because he's.
Oh yeah, he's a
weird.
communist. He'd go right for that.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, sometimes actors will sometimes have really good insights on their characters, and it'll be like it's weird because it used to be. This is sort of like stopping. It's where in some ways acting is getting worse, I think. But like they have to have compassion for the person they're playing. So like they'll play a bad guy, but then they do so much research that to them the bad guy becomes a good guy, and that's like their job is to do that and have compassion for this character that they have, and they know the character better than the director, in some ways better than the writer, and what they do is like kind of magical, and like they don't do that anymore. Now if they have to play a guy, they hate the guy they're playing and they play him like a piece of shit, and it is stupid.
Well, it just shows that Chris Evans might be a decent actor.
Yeah.
Because he hates everything Captain America stands for, but
that was the thing. I liked Captain
him,
America. I
He
liked
did
Captain America in the
He did
movie.
his work, yeah.
Yeah, he kind of does still like understand a little bit or whatever. But,
Yeah.
Fusebox, let me ask you. So Outlaw Nights, it reminded me of a cool sci-fi screenplay, and then I was like, there might be some influences there. Like, is there, like, I don't know what it would be, like Outland maybe? Do you remember that movie, that Sean Connery movie? Have you ever heard of that one?
I've heard of it, and it's weird because like I've never seen it. Somebody mentioned it to me on a stream, and it's funny because in the story of Outlaw Nights, I refer to the colonies in space as the Outlands.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So that one's not a
It was an
direct influence, but it's just kind of like that same genre, and they're kind of similar. And that's kind of like a Western in space too. Outland is.
Yeah.
It's actually
Yeah.
High Noon in sci-fi version. Is what
Yeah, it is.
I would say like most of my influences came from anime.
Okay.
Because and also a little bit like I think I first conceptualized this idea after I saw the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie. And I thought, like, wouldn't it be fun to see pirates, but like with like updated technology to be able to do more fun action stuff? And then that developed as I was watching more anime stuff. Things like I think I loved Tenchi Muyo back in the day, and the character Ryoko was a space pirate, and I thought that was just the coolest thing. But they did almost nothing with it. It's just like, oh, she's a space pirate. Okay. When is she gonna do piracy? Oh, never. like,
Yeah, that's cool. So we're gonna get to see some badass space piracy in this one.
oh yeah, it was taking things I loved and like tweaking them and changing them up because that's the thing. Like you see space pirates in movies and TV shows, but they're rarely really like pirates. Like they rarely do the job of piracy. And I'm like, I
Yeah,
see
that's
pirates.
funny. When you say that, I'm like, you're right. I have never seen them. And actually, that would be just like actual pirate. Like that would be a good set piece or a good action scene or a good part of the story to like just like chase down another ship and like board it and steal everything or whatever. That's cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, is there a little bit of Treasure Island in this kind of, or
I would say the influence for Treasure Island does come in. It's subtle, but it's in the dynamic between Cyrus and the captain of Hazard, Ivory.
is that the big black guy?
He's actually the guy with the cybernetic eye.
Okay, cool.
And I would say the heart of the story is them kind of going up against each other because they're very different from each other, but they're gonna kind of I don't want to give it away, but I mean they're gonna kind of rub off on each other a little bit.
Cool. That's a lot of fun. Those kind of arcs, like that's actually, it's like a relativity arc. Like there isn't this, and there maybe they are learning lessons or whatever, but an arc can just be like they used to hate each other, now they like each other, and that's actually some of the funnest stuff. Anime does do that all the time too. So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, those are the stories I love the most. Is like when you have two characters that just are totally opposites that can't stand each other, that end up kind of taking each other's strengths and weaknesses and combining to become something better.
Yeah, some of the best stuff does that. Like even like my favorite story ever is probably Berserk, and that has like the complicated relationship. It's more of a between three people, that golden arc at least. And it's like really cool how all the relationships kind of change over the course of the story in ways that you don't necessarily predict. I actually didn't see it coming the first time I was watching it. I was like, I didn't know this was going to be like a love story. Like, it's cool.
Hell yeah.
Nice. What about you, T Bunny? Any influences? You kind of mentioned some, I guess, but is there anything else? Or?
Well, I think like political intrigue stories, like some of the like 12 Days of the Condor, things like that. I like. I've always liked stories that work on multiple different levels, and this basically, I've got a lot of things that are like setting in plain sight, a lot of Easter eggs and things. There's a organization that's actually behind everything, and it's not the FERA. It's because and it's like there in the logo. It's there in that cover there. There's some Easter eggs there in the graffiti, um, and it's just like it's like seeded everywhere. But I like books that have a lot more depth to them than
Cool.
and so I write the world and put the characters in the world, but the characters are like they the world is its own character, and so there's a lot of things that I'm hinting at from the beginning that are going to pay off way books down the line, but you have to know where things come out before you can put an entrance in, and so and so there's a lot of complexity, like the file there, the FERA file tier. It's got a lot of character building. It's got a lot of like the World Dictionary, because there's a lot of terms that you'll need to know to navigate this world. A lot of like
Nice.
history, and so it's not just, this is the on ramp to a universe that I'm offering here. It's not a one-stop shop. Okay, this is not a Bucky's. This is a city, and
Yeah.
and actually, I've got a lot of stories I can tell because I've set the world up first. I've actually got a world Bible that's about 20 pages.
Cool.
And it could probably be more than that. And so you start with that, and you work your way out. And I'm telling a simple story to kind of get people on board, but there's a lot more to it than what just appears on the surface.
Yeah, yeah. Sounds cool. Yeah, let's go over these rewards real fast. So $10.
Mm-hmm.
It's the artist writer signature added to it.
Yeah.
$10 digital copy.
Yep.
$10 for the Fira Files add-on, and that's with the World Dictionary and the patch. That's cool. 25 plus shipping is the book. Yeah, you get the book. Nice.
Yeah, it's Uncle Sam cover, and this is the Iwo Jima wraparound.
Yeah.
So.
Stone homage wraparound. Oh, this is a different. So there's two covers, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, gotcha. So one or the other, and then you can get both.
And a digital, right there.
Yeah, 45. Yeah, nice. For 45, save a little bit of money. Good deal.
Yeah, I kept everything. This is the Big Daddy tier here. I'm actually offering 2 people the opportunity, or maybe one person that wants to buy it twice, to actually put a character in my book. A actual character. This is not a cameo. This is an actual character. And,
a lot of times those do sell well. So yeah, I hope people know about that, because people can kind of enjoy that aspect of it.
Yep. So I mean, they can if they don't feel creative enough to just create one from scratch. I have characters that I have templates for that are not fleshed out, that they can probably that they can like make their own. And as long as it fits in my world, and they have to understand that once they create this character, it is in my universe. And so
yeah, that's fun. Yeah, that's funny. When I did the very first Earthbound campaign, I think this was the one that even pre-CG, and it was the first floppy, and it raised like $2,000, barely funded. And I had to ask my friends and family to back it and stuff, but one of my sort of friends backed it at a tier where I gave a whole page commission, so you could use it for advertising or art, and I would draw it. It would just be in the back of the book, and he told me to draw Gerard Butler naked, saying like, "Of my many roles, I've decided blah blah blah," and I did it, and then I was kind of laughing. I was like, haha. But then years later, I look back at the book and I'm like, that bastard sabotaged my book. Like, he just paid me the money and made me draw some piece of shit like thing to just ruin the book. like whatever.
Yeah.
But you could that won't happen to you. But that I'm just saying that did
Oh
happen.
yeah. I mean, you definitely have to place restrictions on it, but reasonable restrictions. It definitely has to fit my universe. Like, I had somebody like wanting to, hey, I could make an orc, and I was like, well, if it fits in my universe, you can make an orc. But it has to fit.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, it's I basically it's just I'm a writer. That's what I do. I mean, if I was an artist, I'd have like a drawn in tier or something like that. But I'm a writer, and so what I have is a creation. That's what I offer. So this is a created. Of course, I work with an artist to get the creation to look like you want it to, but basically, we'll create a character, and that'll be my book. The hero, villain, bystander, just whatever we'll work it out, but it'll be in the book. And so, and it'll be in this book because the last half of the book is plotted and kind of thumbnailed out and to some extent, but it's not drawn, it's not in production yet until I get the results from this tier.
Okay, so. Cool. Yeah, nice. We got 5 minutes left. We're kind of start to wrap up here, but
okay.
20.
Play my trailer. That's always a good one.
Yeah, let me see. We can watch both. The only thing is my internet will mess up sometimes, so I'm gonna try it.
That's why I did download, or whatever.
Yeah. Share audio. But yeah, if it doesn't work, I'll just have Nice.
Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we here idle? What is it the gentlemen wish? What would they have? Is life so dear, or peace so sweet? Has to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it already. As for me, give me liberty or give me death.
Badass. Who did the animation?
Rare Glory.
Okay, yeah, cool.
I love that title. Bring up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a guy named Harry. I keep forgetting his last name. If you need work, I'll send you his link. But
nice, yeah, that's cool. So everyone, check it out. Check out community service Escape from Little Bighorn preambles. Escape from Little Bighorn is a cool. It kind of gives you, like you're saying, a little bit of the pitch, even like they're trapped and they need to get out. There's some influences there of movies like that. I don't know if they're influences, but I can think of examples that use that is a fun plot.
Yeah,
like, it was like a scene.
Like Magnificent Seven's definitely an influence.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Nice.
Because they're supposed to go in here and they're not supposed to make it out, and so cool. it's basically a kill box that they're going into. So
yeah, that's cool. I can't wait to check this out. All right, so and then we'll watch this video and pray that internet still works for this too. Cool. Yeah, man, that's badass. So yeah, both these look great, and yeah, what? So where do we find you guys? T Bunny, you want to go first? Like Twitter, YouTube. What's your? Because you mentioned you have a YouTube about writing. I want to check that out now too.
Yeah, it's called the Rabbit Hole. It's but anywhere else you want to find me, Telepathic Bunny will bring me right up. I'm on
Cool, yeah,
Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Truth Social. I don't do much over there, but I'm on it. And just anywhere you just type in Telepathic Bunny, I usually pop up. It's kind of a unique name, so.
Cool. And Fusebox, how about you? Where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Nights Outlaw. You can also find me on Instagram at Outlaw Nights. You can find me on Facebook under my real name, Ben Fuselier, Fuselier. And you can find me on YouTube. I have a channel called Fusebox, and I'm currently in the midst of kind of restructuring my channel. I'm trying to do a different type of content. I've mostly been doing gameplay stuff recently, and I want to switch it up.
Okay, cool. You know what I was saying as you're talking? I'm like, you sound like Nick Rakita. Has anyone ever told you that?
No, dang.
Yeah, you should. Have you ever heard him talk? Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Many
That's
times.
funny. Yeah. Like you could do whatever. I don't know if you'd ever want to do this, but you could do like an impression or something if you wanted to. Like that laugh. That's even. You guys might have similar genetics. You know, you meet someone and they're like not related, but more like in the.
I got people telling me I look like Heels versus Babyface, and I got people telling me I sound like Nick Rakita.
Yeah, see, it's like the D&D dice rolls of life.
You kind of do look like Az, to be honest. Yeah.
I take deep offense to that.
Yeah, you look like Fit Az or whatever.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, he's losing weight. He's losing a lot of weight. So.
Yeah, I think he is. All right, so yeah, 23 people watching. Chat, thank you for being here. These books both look great. Both actually sound really good stories, so I'm definitely stoked to check them out.
Awesome.
And yeah, I think we might just end the stream here. I think that's how it ends. I just click it. So I still don't have an outro video. So click it.